Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Treasure Guest Show. This is a show dedicated to all things Disney, including those asshole guests that some Disney cast members sarcastically call treasured guests. My name is Greg, and I am your host for today. And I also have a co host today. So, my dog Kratos, who I will post a picture of here, he's just enjoying life on his little bed over here, dreaming away, going to doggy dreams and fields and whatever it is that dogs dream about. Yeah, so normally during this show, I would take a moment to provide you a story of a person or persons who were treasured guests in the parks, meaning that people that were either a-holes or they did things like violence or bad things to get arrested or kicked out of the parks, things of that nature. However, shortly after I released episode 1 of this show a couple weeks ago, if you haven't seen it, check it out on YouTube. It's there. Disney came out with new courtesy guidelines for, when people go to their parks. So, like, what's up, Disney? I released one episode. This is my dream to have my own Disney podcast slash vlog show on YouTube. And then now you come out with these new courtesy rules. So I can't talk about treasured guests anymore or won't have the material to talk about treasured guests anymore. So, like, what's up with that? You trying to get me canceled or something? Let's be honest, Disney's not trying to get me canceled. I'm too small of a man, and Disney doesn't care about little old me. But anyway, so let's go over what each of these courtesy rules say in Disney World and Disneyland. So let's check it out. So so the first thing is that this is Disney World's guideline. So as you can see, it takes a little digging to get here, but when you go to like the know before you go and things of that area on their webpage, they'll have these things here that say preparing for your visit. Things like theme park reservations, the health and safety, the mobile app have been there. They've been there for a while now. However, as you can see over here, on the right hand side, there's a little thing that says courtesy, and it says, "Be the magic you want to see in the world." And then there will be a thing that says show more. And then when you do show more or read more, little blip will come up down here that says courtesy. Be the magic you want to see in the world. You must always remember to treat others with respect, kindness, and compassion. Those who can't live up to this simple wish may be asked to leave Walt Disney World Resort. You must always remember to treat others with respect, kindness, and compassion, which is no easy feat in Disney World, right? But it's something that they want you to do now in the park. So that is for Walt Disney World. Now let's go ahead and move over to Disneyland, which should be right below it here. So it still has, it's a little bit different, but I mean, pretty much the four things are the same. You still got your thing for park reservations, your health and safety. Download the official Disneyland app, and then there's this fourth thing that says courtesy. So it's worded a little bit differently as you can see from Walt Disney World, but I think the thought still comes across where it says courtesy. We ask all who come to this happy place to treat others with respect, kindness, and compassion. And then when you hit the read more button, this thing pops up down here. It says courtesy. We ask all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Sorry, Walt. But no, courtesy. We ask all who come to this happy place to treat others with respect, kindness, and compassion. To help guests have a safe and enjoyable experience, we regularly update our Disneyland resort rules. So I wonder, why is it worded differently from Disney World to Disneyland? So once again, Disney World says, "Be the magic you want to see in the world. You must always remember to treat others with respect, kindness, and compassion. Those who can't may be asked to leave," right? Where Disneyland says courtesy. We ask all who come to this happy place to treat others with respect, kindness, and compassion. To help guests have a safe and enjoyable experience, we regularly update our Disneyland resort rules. So why would they make the blip on the Disneyland one that they regularly update their Disneyland resort rules? I mean, are things changing that much in Disneyland that they have to put that blip out there that they are changing Disneyland resort rules? Yeah, I don't know. I leave it to you guys. So do you think that these new courtesy rules are going to make a difference at all to the amount of current treasure guests that we see in Walt Disney World or Disneyland Resort? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear them. And overall, do you think this is a good thing? Do you think this is kind of a waste of time? Do you think this is a bad thing? I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. So go ahead and leave your thoughts below. Me personally, I don't think this is going to make any impact, or if it is, it's going to be very minimal. For one, it's very hard to find these things on the website. When you go to the website, the first thing you're just inundated with is videos of this magical place, and then, oh my God, go here and then do your reservations. And then, it's kind of a little bit of a like an overwhelming thing when you go to the webpage. So to find these rules on there, and then of course you got to find your park reservation and ticket and package and all that stuff. So this isn't like it's really just sticking out on the main page. You do have to click a few things to get to it. So I think just because of that, I don't think it's really going to make that much of a change, truthfully. However, if you are in the parks and you do see treasured guests, meaning like the a-holes and people who don't follow the rules and, treasured guests sarcastically, of course, if you see those people, go ahead and send them my way. Hit us up on social media, or hit us up in an email. I would love to see it, and I would love to make fun of those people and talk about them on a future episode of The Treasured Guest. All right, everybody. So, for the next part of the show, as you know, the holidays are in full swing. People are just going crazy trying to get those last minute gifts or take those last minute vacations. Travel right now is a hot mess. We have that crazy winter storm that is happening as we speak. And if that has impacted you, please stay safe out there. Don't try to force and drive anywhere if you're stuck in snow or if there's unsafe conditions. Always be safe, stay at home. If you're impacted by flights, and like I think over like 2,000 flights were canceled recently over this Christmas weekend. That sucks. Hope you're able to get to where you are, or at least that your airlines are able to refund you or hook you up with some type of an arrangement, because it sucks when you plan something out for months, whether it's a Disney World vacation, Disneyland vacation, or just seeing people for the holidays, and then yet weather gets in the way, right? So thoughts and prayers are out to you guys, anybody who's impacted by that storm. But for the rest of the show, what I wanted to do is I kind of, as you know, holidays in full swing. And actually, these next 2 weeks between Christmas and New Year's are actually the busiest time in the parks. So you will not see a busier time in the parks. I've talked about crowd calendars previously on the show. Crowd calendars out of a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the least busiest time and 10 being the busiest time. I think all the crowd calendars like show 100. Like that's how busy the parks are going to be. So just kind of know that in full swing. And what I wanted to do is that I just wanted to kind of share some tips and experiences for you and with you, so that way you do not become a treasured guest yourself. So let's get into it. First things first, you gotta be flexible. Any plans that you made may get thrown out the window the minute you hit the parks, right? And I know, like, especially with Walt Disney World, they want you to plan everything 6 months in advance. For both Disneyland and Disney World, they want you to do reservations and everything 60 days in advance. You may have this whole good plan, going forward, and then you get there and you're just going to be inundated with, people, long wait times, cranky family members. So just be flexible. Number two, pack your patience. So you are going to be consistently surrounded by thousands upon thousands of your very closest Disney friends. You're going to see things like 2 hour long wait times. You're going to see some of the longest lines you've ever seen in your life just to get a churro or a popcorn bucket, or, a hot dog, or not hot dog, a corn dog. Pack your patience, right? The better that you can do in setting the mindset that it's just going to be crazy, it's just going to be madness, it's going to be packed full of people, the better you're going to go into it once you get into the park. So flexibility and patience is key. I cannot stress number one and number two enough. Number three, arrive early, stay late. I know I've talked about this on another episode of the show, but the Disney parks, whether it be in the Disneyland Resort or Walt Disney World Resort in Florida, they have these things called early entry, where depending on the day, you can either get into the parks a half hour early, or maybe they're adjusting them an hour early. I don't know, but you want to definitely take advantage of those. With the holiday season, even with the park opening up, or parks, I should say, opening up a half hour early, in this case, I would probably still get to the early entry ticket, entrance probably at least an hour beforehand. Like I said, this is going to be the busiest time of the parks, and a lot of people are going to also be trying to take advantage of those little bit of 30 minutes that they can get. So the earlier you can get there and the higher up you can get in line prior to even those early entrances opening, the better it's going to be for you. Once you do get an early entry, not all the rides are going to be open. However, some of the rides will, and you can definitely knock out probably 2 to 3 rides, probably just in that 30 minutes, depending on how far the walk is in between each of them. And then, even with not early entry, once the theme parks open to the regular guest, then you can also still take advantage of knocking out a few more rides while you're already in the parks, right? So you already have that advantage of being in the park and you're not having to, wait with the rest of the crowd that's trying to get into the parks during the first, 60 minutes of entry, right? So I would say definitely when you arrive early, take advantage of early entry. You could probably knock out probably 3 to 6 rides and if not more within the first few hours or 2 to 3 hours of the park entry. And then from there you can look to other things like getting a late breakfast or maybe even take a break. Now I will caution you on taking a break, especially on Christmas Eve, Christmas, New Year's Eve. The parks actually do fill up to capacity, and what that means is that once the park is at capacity, the Disney cast members will no longer allow people into the parks unless they have a confirmation that enough people have left the park and then they could allow some more people to come in, which is very rare, especially if you're talking about New Year's Eve, right? So prepare to arrive early, prepare to stay late. Didn't expect this to be a relaxing vacation or a relaxing day, did you? If you want to take full advantage of everything they do during the parks on especially like New Year's Eve, they do stay open later, sometimes, midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and that gives you enough time to hopefully knock out as much rides as you can. But let's be honest, a lot of those rides are going to be at 90-minute, 2 hour, 3 hour waits, especially for the big guys. So the earlier you can get in the parks and knock those out early, the better it's going to be, especially later in the day. So number 4, dining. So hopefully you were one of the few who got on to the Disney website or the Disney app, whatever it's Disneyland, Disney World, whatever, 60 days in advance and booked your dining reservation. And hopefully you got the dining reservations that you wanted to get. Because I guarantee you right now, everything's filled up. No matter what restaurant you go to, it's probably going to be booked up with reservations, right? However, that doesn't mean you should give up. So, Disney dining cancellation policy is that when you have a Disney dining reservation, you have up until 2 hours prior to said reservation to cancel that reservation or get a $10 cancellation fee per person that's on your reservation. So if you have 5 people on your reservation, that's $50 if you don't cancel at least 2 hours prior ahead of time. So with that being said, with the craziness of what, New Year's, Christmas Eve, Christmas, and those whole 2 weeks are going to be, I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of people who are not going to be able to make their dining reservation for one reason or another. Maybe cranky kid, they got to take them back to the hotel. People get injured. Maybe they got to go, back to the nursing station or they got to leave the park for whatever reason, whatever. So there's going to be some. Now, granted, it's probably going to be few. However, there is going to be some cancellation. So please continue to make sure, up to that 2 hour mark, just keep checking in your app, the My Disney Experience app or the Disneyland app, and just try to get those reservations because I guarantee you something will probably come up. And once again, going back to number 1, be flexible, right? The restaurant that you want to go to, like if you're trying to go to Cinderella's Royal Table in the castle in Magic Kingdom and you don't have a reservation yet, you're probably not going to get it, right? But you may be able to get a reservation elsewhere. So just be flexible. And then if you're not able to get a reservation for a sit down place, then quick service is key. But just know that quick service dining is also going to have long lines and you're also going to be fighting, with other people trying to get limited seats in the dining areas. But it's still doable. So don't think you're not going to be going there and not be able to eat. The other option is that you can always bring your own food. You can always bring your own snacks. You can always, chips for the kids or chips for you. You can always bring sandwiches. So take advantage of that as well. All right. I know this is for number 5. I know it's a little late for this, but save your money and don't even bother about getting a park hopper. So like I said, these 2 weeks between Christmas holiday, Hanukkah, Christmas, New Year's, like this whole time is the busiest time in the parks, right? You're definitely going to want to use your time wisely and be smart about your planning for all the things that you can do in the one park that you're in that has the potential of reaching capacity, right? If you're trying to, go to one park for half a day and another park for another half of the day, well, that's twice the amount of planning that you got to do. And then here's the thing, if you try to park hop, depending on the time you go to your second park, it may be closed for capacity, right? And then you try to go back to your original park and then or any other park, and guess what? They may also be closed for capacity. So, I would just say arrive early, maybe take a break as early as possible, come back prior to that early afternoon mark, and then that way you are not locked out of the park for capacity. Number 6, check out the show schedules on the app. Things are always changing in the theme parks. I think we all know this, right? Parades are still going to happen at 3 o'clock, but there may be additional parades going on, especially during Christmas time and the Christmas parades that they have going on. Also, double check, make sure you got the correct times for the fireworks. If you're trying to get a spot in the parks and you want to experience fireworks in the parks, then you're definitely going to want to camp out at least 60 minutes to not, 2-3 hours prior in the parks to get a sweet spot, especially if you're trying to view fireworks in front of the castle. So definitely check the show schedules and they will let you know everything's going on, and then plan ahead so that way you don't miss anything that's going on in the parks that day. Also, another thing about the fireworks, you don't have to check the fireworks out in the parks. There are plenty of locations around Disneyland and Disney World that you can check the fireworks out at. Disney World, for example, has lounges at the Contemporary Hotel, or Bay Lake Tower, as they like to say, for the second tower. They also got resorts like Polynesian Resort that you can watch fireworks from the beach. Grand Floridian. There's a lot of resorts that you can catch the fireworks, at. And then in Disneyland, you can see fireworks from the entire city of Anaheim in Disneyland, let's be honest. So you don't necessarily have to be in the parks unless you really want to, right? I get it, especially on New Year's Eve. A lot of people want to be in the parks. They want to get that experience, seeing the fireworks in the parks and then doing that thing. But just know it's not necessarily, a requirement that you need to see the fireworks in the parks. And then number 7, check out other areas of the parks. I know this kind of goes hand in hand with what I said, number 6, but you don't always have to be in the park, right? Disney World, Disneyland have some amazing resorts there that are all decked out for the holidays. Definitely take advantage of that. You can also check out, Disney Springs or downtown Disney, depending on where you're at. Also they're not just shopping, right? I mean, they got decorations out there. They got cool little dining things that have special events going on for the holidays. So take advantage of those other areas, especially if you're looking to take like a quick little like early morning break and then coming back prior to capacity. So definitely take advantage of those areas like the resorts and downtown Disney Springs, things like that. They will give you the same amount of holiday cheer, I promise you. Though the parks, obviously, everybody wants to be in the parks, right? But if you just need a break from those thousands and the thousands of people, or millions of people, as The Rock would say, take a break. Go check out Disney Springs. Go check out your hotel and those surrounding areas. All right, everybody. So, have you experienced the theme parks during this madness of a time, especially on Christmas and New Year's? Do you have thoughts that you would like to share, or best practices here that I did not cover? Please go ahead and send them to me, and go ahead and subscribe below. Check us out on our social media sites that are here, and everywhere. Check out our email. Email me. If you see a treasure guest in a park you want to send my way, hit us up on social media or send me an email on it. I'd love to, show that person on the show. Also, respect your cast members. Okay. The cast members go through a lot of shit. They don't need you to be an asshole to them. Okay. So kudos to the cast members. Thank you guys for everything you do. I know this is a crazy time in the parks. So respect your cast members and don't be a treasure guest. Have a good one, everybody.